Hello, everybody. We are at the Palazzo, and we're at the Palazzo during daylight hours.
Yeah, after a big storm yesterday.
For those of you who are new to our channel, we're crazy Americans who bought a 31-room abandoned Palazzo about a year ago, a little more than a year ago, but started construction almost at this time last year in Sicily. What else? What else should they know about?
And
how should they judge us?
It's going, slowly, but
yeah.
okay.
So we've had a couple slow months. We're just going to talk about a little bit of this and that, and then we'll jump into some questions as you come on. If you want to put questions in the chat, that would be awesome. So we started about a year ago, and we stopped. Oh gosh, we stopped a little bit in the summer.
Yeah, a little bit in the summer, and then
a little bit in August when everything shuts down for Ferragosto, just a little bit.
Yeah, and then I would say late October into November got really slow, because of a lot of reasons. I mean, weather and availability and everything.
Yeah, and we'll be talking about more of this in our next video. We actually have half of a video filmed and in the can, but we didn't get to finish because of some really crazy weather here yesterday. In fact, we just were walking around the palazzo trying to see if anything had been damaged. It's like we had a couple semi-loose panes of glass indoors that are going to be replaced have fallen in and smashed. It's still windy here. We have new mics that have little small rabbits on them to help with the wind, but we hope our sound is okay. So we've got a few questions that we've been asked a lot. But also we're hoping some of you will feel free to put questions in the chat. And like, what else do we want to just do little updates while we give people another couple minutes to join us?
Yeah, well, we were also just walking around town, and I mean, we saw there's a variety of buildings damaged around town. The winds got up to about, 50 miles per hour,
At
I would
least.
say, gusting, that kind of stuff. I mean,
At least.
for a solid 8 hours, I would say.
Yeah.
So a lot of stuff. I think that anything that was loose got sort of blown.
It's now
back
been
and forth
removed
until it broke or stopped. So.
We have a little water in the house, but that's mostly because we have no windows in the room, so water's come in, but it goes away, and we're not worried about that. Everything looks relatively okay here. We have a table that blew over there, and thankfully it didn't take flight and go somewhere else. I guess that's and we know, like, for terraces you need to have heavy furniture and you need to take care of your cushions and stuff, because occasionally you'll get weather like this. This is actually the strangest sort of weather we've seen like this much rain at this, like, it was unusual. It's the first time I broke out my my wellies. Well, not really wellies, but my rain boots.
We've had some like torrential rain before, but like the rain plus the wind, I think, was really off the charts yesterday. So
yeah, I was here yesterday showing the place to some new friends who we actually met through our YouTube site, but are moving here to Italy, and maybe 50-50 chance that it's going to be in Sicily. They were staying here in this town. It's finally showing them. We were trying to get out before it rained, and the fog came in such that it didn't look like you felt like you were alone in the world, because the fog just like came in. Plus it was windy. I've never experienced sort of in my life like a fog that was that thick and dense, and wind. Like, I think where we've lived in the past, that the wind would keep the fog from setting in. It was crazy, but interesting.
So we have a question from Pamela. Pamela said that if you're visiting in your area, would you be open for a stop by kind of visit? And I'll answer for you. It'll probably annoy you, but
okay, go ahead. Let's see what he says.
Well, I would say that right now we get few enough visitors that we'd be cool with anybody stopping by who's enthusiastic about the project and that kind of thing. Once the number gets above a certain amount, then we might not be quite as
let's
open
just
and
say
welcoming.
you're in the early adopters of our craziness.
Because you're early, then yes, no problem.
Yeah, we've had a few people, mostly people who are doing similar projects here or in the South or planning to do it, that have come by, but
we also had some people who knew us from back in the Boston area.
Yep.
sort of
customers from our
noticed,
cheese
yes.
store,
Right.
and yeah, I mean, as of right now, our policy is if you're less crazy than we are, you pass the test if we have the time and ability. So definitely reach out. Not a problem. And Ronnie7, hello. This is nice to see you here. So let's see. Please, if you have any questions as we're talking, let us know. Do you want to go into some of our first most asked questions that we have on our list?
Sure. So I think top thing that I've seen on there is like, okay, well, all this stuff that you've been doing is nice, but when are we going to see some construction again?
Stop talking, start working. So, so we are. The thing we've been waiting for most, and maybe I can turn this a little bit so you can see. So in this corner, inside, mostly you see it inside, there is a crack. And that wall, unlike the US where we seem to build a wood wall and then a floor and then another wood wall, these walls go all the way up. So what we wanted to do is make this corner strong enough that this will last forever, or at least another few hundred years, which would be great because that's longer than I'll be here. And we were waiting for the parts. So you can see this rod here is one of the rods that's already been put in. We were waiting for those parts. The things they still need to put on are these big, like 20 kilogram plates. They call them piastra, which is just the word for plates. They look a lot like
weights,
like powerlifting weights, not like little dumbbells, but like the big round ones. So they put 2 on each side and then cap it off. And we've been waiting for those parts. And what happens in Sicily is that the people that needed to ship them are probably like, they're not working at Christmas time, so we'll send them later. We're on an island. These take a little longer. We have the parts. So they've been working for 3 days, but the third day was yesterday, and they need to be outside, and they need to be on ladders, and they need to be carrying heavy weights. And so this was not a good possibility. So that's kind of what we've been waiting for, and that has started. So we've already started back up.
Yeah, it's on the way again.
Yeah. So and then people want to know, like, what's next, Matt? Do you know what's next? I quizzed him on the way.
Yeah. So I mean, depending on which of the construction teams becomes available first, we're either going to be working on so over in this building where we're fixing the wall. That's our one sort of floor that we've taken out so far, and we have to put that floor / ceiling back in place to get going on this side of the building. And so it's either the team that's going to do that, or we also demolished the room on that side that's going to be the outdoor, not the outdoor bathroom.
It's not the outdoor bathroom. So
down there, there's a
right
small
where
room
that
on the end of the house that I think maybe used to be laundry.
Yeah, it was the laundry room, it's the utility room, and now
for us it's going to be a small bathroom.
Our ensuite bathroom for the bedroom.
And that just needs to be rebuilt because that was completely torn down during demolition.
Yeah, definitely. So one of those two we're waiting to see, and the weather will decide. Hello, Lisa. Hello in Florida. I hope the weather's good there. The weather seems to be weird in all sorts of places around the globe right now. We have the water that LA needs. We're sorry, LA. Happy to send it your way. What else? So, gosh, we've been working on lately. The last things I need to buy for the palazzo are for that back bathroom. That was something we've added on at the end. We've been, Matt's been looking at the back of my head as I sit at the computer and look at faucet after faucet and sink and toilet after sink and toilet, but we're almost there. So I've been doing my homework.
And to be clear, we didn't add it on so much as like rearrange the inside. It's it was already a part of the structure.
Yeah.
We just because we were taking down so many walls, we used it as one more time to kind of rethink what's the layout and flow of that side of the house.
Yeah.
And so we wound up with one more bathroom than we planned.
Let's see. Some people have been asking us because they're also following us because we're in other groups together. How are we here? We are here living. We have 0 Italian, 0 Sicilian blood. We're working on trying to figure out how to get a transfusion, yeah, we're here on a startup investor visa. So basically, we were able to sell our house in the U.S. And put some of that money into an investor visa, which is for us a temporary investment. We're choosing to invest for 5 years because at 5 years we get to have long-term EU permits and we can basically take our investment back out. It's 250,000 euros. It's called the Golden Visa, and we thought like we're not those people ever. We're not people who buy a Golden Visa, but we were either going to put that 250,000 from the house into the bank, or we'd invest it, or we could get the investor visa, which is also investing it. And the benefits from that visa are fantastic. It's like a work visa, which means we can work here if we want. We can be residents if we want. You don't have to be residents. We could come and go as we please. And it moves a little faster because basically you're choosing from a list of approved startups. There's a Italian Chamber of Commerce list, which is not, when we did this 3 years ago, started looking, it was not up to date then. It's probably not up to date now. And those people are on that list just to be registered as a startup. They don't know, most of them don't know about this, that somebody could invest in them. That's not why they're on that list. They're on that list for the same reason. In the States, we might be on a woman-owned business list, so people would know if they wanted to go look for a business, or a Black-owned business list, all those things. And that's what we did. We'll probably do a whole video in that later, but that's how we're here and why Matt can work. And he does work very hard. But he works for a U.S. company, and why we still own the stores, our store and our online store, curdbox.com.
But I think it's also been just nice. I mean, to be able to invest in an Italian company and sort of support and help further their dream. We consider our store to be a startup, and so like we know and appreciate having the support of other people.
I mean, I think
investing.
You think about how hard it is to become a citizen or just a resident in the U.S. It's not easy. It's very difficult. Obviously, was a major issue during the election, and so like coming, essentially being immigrants into another country. I like the fact that I'm invested in a startup. We love our startup, by the way. It's Windering, WINEDERING, and it's like a TripAdvisor for wine tastings, wine trips in multiple countries around the world. It's very, very cool. They're doing wonderful, amazing things. They were only in Italy when we started with them, and now they're in, I think, at least 3 more countries. But I've been given the clue because I talked to one of the founders today that there's some more good news coming for in the first quarter. So excited to be working with them, and I feel like I'm part of Italy in just a little bit bigger way. And I would see Pamela has asked a good question about why did we want to live in Sicily?
Yeah, and I mean that all started with just kind of serendipity, I would say. It started when we had been working with a company that did imports of Sicilian and other Italian products into the U.S.
Wines
for our store, and we discussed having a customer trip to Sicily, and so we brought some customers to Sicily. Gosh, that was 2021. It was kind of mid-pandemic. It seemed like, and late pandemic, but it was not.
Pandemic.
And and so we took a customer trip, sort of a food and wine tour all around.
9 nights, 10 days. Matt was like, "Why are we spending 10 days on an island?" And now he knows better. You can't. You need a much longer trip to really appreciate the whole island.
I didn't.
Which is amazing.
I didn't have an appreciation. I mean, I looked at the data, and the data said Sicily is the size and population of Massachusetts, and I felt like spending a 10-day trip around Massachusetts, seemed like maybe overkill. But no, that's not the case. Sicily's got
it's like three countries in the size of Massachusetts. Just so much different culture, different food,
and 2,000 more years of history to to catch up on.
Yeah. So yeah, we sort of fell in love with the island. We've been trying to figure out what we were going to do in our empty nesters stage of life. Matt works remotely, so we knew we could move around. I am dealing with a very not remote store, but we have a really great team helping us run our two businesses. And those are actually both, we've talked about this before, those are both for sale. But we came here and fell in love. The people are incredibly, incredibly nice. I grew up in Detroit area, and we always knew the Canadians to be some of the nicest people in the world. Well, Sicilians give them a run for their money. And they're just, they want to take you in. At first, they might seem like they're like suspicious of you and what are you, but the minute you talk to them, especially if you're trying to speak Italian, they're interested in you. They want to know why you're there and what you're doing and can they help and do you want to come for dinner, and you're part of the family. And Lisa, who's on this call or on one of our things, she knows that for sure. She's purchased a palazzo that they've renovated in a town called Milo, Milo, which is the town where their father was born. And they've been adopted. They have like, I don't know, Lisa, you guys up to like 42 uncles in Milo. They know when she comes, they stop her, they bring stuff. They're just, it's a great place to be, I want to say an outsider or somebody new, because you get enveloped. There's no like official welcome club, but you are welcomed. It's really fun.
And let me also jump in and say, Sicily, I mean, pretty economical.
Yes.
Like, in comparison, cost of living compared to Boston, let's say, it's you can, everything. Well, not everything is cheaper, but most things.
A lot of things are cheaper.
Most things a lot cheaper than, and obviously cheaper than living in Milan or someplace up in the north. So it's it was a choice of we fell in love while driving around
the food
country.
Is great. They eat seasonally. We are currently in orange citrus season. Matt made me 2 glasses of spremuto, which is fresh squeezed orange juice today because I deserved it. And and you eat seasonally. The food is great. It tastes better than anything I've ever bought at a Whole Foods and organic store in the U.S. in general. And so and the weather is great except for these occasional weird things, which we get anywhere in the world. You get a weird spell, but it's beautiful, and the people are beautiful, and the food is beautiful, and it's an interesting place to live. It's like Matt said, it has history that's been going on for a few years, a couple years.
Yeah.
It's been owned and run by a number of different countries, empires, whatever, all different setups. But so there's culture everywhere. There's archaeology. You just like drive down the site and you're like, what's that? You're like, oh, it's ruins. Just not even named. There's so many ruins. They're not even all like museum. They're just like next to that parking lot.
That's the 15th best archaeological site in this town.
Yeah, on that street. Yeah. It's a little crazy. So anyway, let's see. We've been going for about 20 minutes. We should probably wrap this up.
Yep.
We do have a fun video that's going to be coming out next week when we get these guys finished. When this stick is no longer here, we'll get that videotaped, put that all together, and you can see how we're structurally holding this part of the house together. And then we're on to either, and maybe I'll know by the time we do that video, either the ceiling of our guest house or the ensuite bedroom or a bathroom. But we're going. We have they've promised us in 90 working days we'll be able to move in the guest house, and we're at 88 days left. So thank you everybody for coming and for stopping by and for following us. And until next time,
ciao.
Ciao, ciao.